We are all set to go. Engines rev, heart rates rise, nerves mount. This is finals day here in Italy. It's round 2 of the Rotax Max Euro Challenge. Our first final of the day is for the DD2 category, the 2-speed gearbox karts which fly around here, pushing 100 kilometres an hour and an average speed and well over 100 kilometres an hour on the top speed on the straights. This is how they shape up then. After the pre-final, we saw Paolo De Conto taking his 4th win of the day, fourth win of the weekend, given that he won all the heats as well. So the Italian for KMS Birrell Motorsport is on pole position. Sean Babington from Great Britain for Strawberry Racing starts second. Jordan Lennox-Lamb from Britain but representing the Italian team CRG starts third. Ben Cooper, reigning champion, current leader from Canada, representing KMS Birrell Motorsport, starts fourth. And to complete the top 6, Andreas Backman from Sweden for Strawberry Racing, and Anthony Abbas, who had a great run through from the middle of the grid in the pre-final to finish in 6th place. The Frenchman for Sodi Kart starts 6th. 7th is Michael Christensen, the Danish driver for RS Competition. 8th is Daniel Formal from Costa Rica for CRG. 9th is Ferenc Kanchar, the Hungarian for KMS Birrell Motorsport, and 10th is number 660, Damien VM, the French driver for the Flandria Competition Kart Squad. Then the rest of the grid: 11th Philippos Kalesis, who is 4th in the championship. Josh Collins, who you heard from on the grid, starts 12th. 13th is Zenderuva, looking to make progress, the Belgian. 14th is Brian Eden. 15th on the grid is Maxi Fleischmann. 16th on the grid is David Rotar. 17th on the grid, Alex Beji. 18th, Massimo Assetto. 19th is Marcel Schirmer. 20th is Lorenzo Van Riet. 21st on the grid, Dario Santoro. 22nd on the grid, Alessio Curto. 23rd, the best placed master, is Martin Pierce. 24th is Martin Steinertz, who came up from the second chance heats. 25th is Ennio Sessa. 26th on the grid is Erwin Montfort. 27th, Barry Pollinger. 28th, Julien Renaudin. 29th, Cyril Apotolo. Maxime Gravy, number 30 on the grid. Mika Laiho, 31st on the grid. Cristiano Magado back in 32nd as the next best master. Kevin Ludi, 33rd. And Luca Kamali, if he's there, should be starting 34th on the grid. It's going to be a 19-lap race. It's going to be an absolute belter. To talk you through the start, here's Matt Suckling.
More points on offer then for all the final competitors in this. It's DD2 time as the karts make their way into the final corner. Round 1 at Genk saw a lot of false starts this weekend. It's been so much better. Let's hope we get one this time. Paolo De Conto leads them through the final corner. Sean Babington alongside, 19 laps ahead of the karters now. The lights do not go out, so there's a slight jinx there for myself, to apologise. So we will get another start in this one then. So they'll be sent round, 2 bunched down. We can see our starter not happy with that. He just gesticulates what the problem was. He's going to slow them right down now through turn number 3.
It's quite interesting, the starts that Paolo De Conto does. He bunches them right up, doesn't he? It's a very slow build-up coming out of the last corner. Then he drops it into neutral, revs the engine, and then bangs it into first gear. He's away like a rocket. Everybody up behind him, though, is about 20 yards back.
I need to get some tips off him after this race to learn for round number 3. But yeah, Paolo De Conto, I think, was the man who just bolted away a little bit too early there. You got your yellow line, as we've been saying this weekend, the acceleration line. That's where you can floor the throttle and get on with the racing. But Paolo just a little bit ahead of most of the other competitors there, which you kind of understand because he sits on pole. He's the man who judges when you go, really, apart from the starter when the red lights go out. So let's try and take number 2 for this DD2 start. The kart's making their way now out of turn number 10. They'll come through the left and right flick of turns 11 and 12. That's where our officials stand, just to make sure once again the field is really, really slowed down to almost walking pace. And then as they come through the final corner, they'll stay through their grid hatches, a nice gap between the middle of the pack, and by doing so we should this time hopefully have a start. Again, it's very slow. Everyone bunches up, then drops back, so they're going to have to sort it out very, very quickly. This time though, we've got everyone ready to go. The lights are about to go out, hopefully red this time. And are we going to get a start? Yes, we are. DD2 is underway. Sean Babington gets away pretty well into second place. He's already down on the inside line. Ben Cooper is going to shoot into third place there from the start as well. And who's the one that's dropped down? I think Jordan Lennox-Lamb could be in 4th place. Yes, he is. So he goes through next up. Then we see up into 5th place is going to be a great start there by the looks of it, Daniel Formal. So he's done pretty well from down on the grid in this one. But the man up front who got the good start, Paolo De Conto, leads them through off the back straight for the first time. Sean Babington is there in second. Reigning champion from DD2 last year, Ben Cooper, Cooper sits in third place. Jordan Lennox-Lamb, the slowest of the front runners, down in fourth place. Change for fifth as well. Daniel Formal possibly under attack from Anthony Abbas, I think, who's gone so well this weekend, and he should be on for a good final here if he can get any further up than that fifth place. They come through to complete lap number 1. Through the final corner now comes our race leader, Paolo De Conto, and he's under pressure from Sean Babington already as they streak for the second time in towards turn number 1, Chris.
Yeah, more side-by-side action into turn 1 just behind as well. The battle for 5th place seems to be, or 6th place seems to be the one to watch here. So going through into 6th place was Andreas Batman, who lost a few places off the start. Good move up the inside of Michael Christensen on the way into the first corner. That was the 6th and 7th swap. The Swede getting ahead of the Dane. There's already a gap developing to the top 5. It was, as you say, a terrific start to the race from Daniel Formal from the outside row. He just threw it down the outside. He got a lovely run over the start-finish line. Here goes Sean Babington, going for the lead of the race. He's got his nose in front as they charge up towards the left-hand hairpin. Has he got through? No, not quite, but he got up the inside. Very briefly, he led the race, but it was for all of 2 seconds, I think, before De Conto got back around the outside of him on the way into the next hairpin. But that was a determined move from Sean Babington. I was in the middle of telling you about that tremendous start from Daniel Formal, who went from 8th to 5th, but at the end of the first lap, he dropped back again. So it's Paolo De Conto that leads, Sean Babington second, Jordan Lennox-Lamb in third, Ben Cooper there in fourth place. Anthony Abbas, who don't forget, was just as quick as De Conto and Babington in qualifying, has had that one bad heat. He's had to come through the order, but he's catching up now. He's in fifth place, going very slowly there. Maxi Fleischmann looks like he's about to retire from the race. Up front, though, they're all together, Matt.
Yeah, they certainly are. So in towards the hairpin they go once again. A slight lunge there to try and get to the inside from Ben Cooper, I think that was in fourth place, but doesn't quite work. But look at this from Sean Babington. He's had a fantastic start to this race. He's all over the back of race leader Paolo De Conto for the time being. They come through for another lap. This time round Ben Cooper has dropped to fifth place because Anthony Abbas has gone one further into fourth. So Abbas is really on the money in this one. He's a storming drive so far. Let's see if he can continue that pace. Sits now on the tail of Jordan Lennox-Lamb, who's there in third place. Behind the top 5, at sixth place, and also catching as well, is Andreas Bachmann, and his teammate, he's on his tail, Michael Christensen, as they head down the back straight for another time. 16 laps to go. It's still up front though. Paolo De Conto changed for third place there. Anthony Abbas, another place taken away. So nicely done for Abbas. He now gets himself ahead of Jordan Lennox-Lamb, who briefly thought about taking the place back away from him, but again he couldn't quite get the car down the inside line. He'll continue for the inside in towards turn 10, but again Anthony Abbas is really moving up the order here. So into the final corner, can he now catch the top 2? We'll wait and find out. Paolo De Conto through for another time in the lead of the race. Still Babington second. Abbas now into third place. Jordan Lennox-Lamb is in fourth, and now joined by Ben Cooper and also Andreas Bachmann.
Absolutely right, yeah, the four of them are together. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, going through turns 4 and 5 onto the back straight now. Anthony Abbas, the star of the race so far, there's no doubt about it. He came through well in the pre-final. He's done a good job here, and he's just starting to stretch his legs now, pulling away from Lennox-Lamb. Ben Cooper looks to be slightly quicker than me than Lennox-Lamb at this stage in the race. He carried a load of speed coming onto the final turn, but he's now under attack from Andreas Bachmann into turn 9, and the Swede goes through. So Ben Cooper, the championship leader, losing another place here. He's down to the tail end of the top 6. Not that far behind them is Michael Christensen as well. The Dane starting to reel them in. There's the leader, De Conto. There's Babington coming through onto the start-finish line in second place. In third position, it's Anthony Abbas. In fourth place, it's Jordan Lennox-Lamb. Up to fifth now is Andreas Bachmann. In sixth position, it's Ben Cooper. Seventh, about 2 cart lengths behind them, is Michael Christensen. And Damien VM, having a very good run, the French driver, has come up to 8th place now. Josh Collins is up to 9th. Daniel Formal is rounding out the top 10. And Martin Pearce in 20th place continues, for the time being at least, to lead the Masters.
Ben Cooper said on the grid he'd be happy with a top 5 finish, even a podium. At the minute, he's not quite there. He sits in 6th place in the order. He's got a lot more chasing down to do with those 5 cars ahead. The one that looks to be still on the move is Anthony Abbas, sitting there in 3rd place. The gap between himself and Sean Babington is definitely coming down. So let's see if he can get there within the next couple of laps. Still plenty to go as Paolo De Conto comes through the final corner with 13 now on the lap chart to go. Heads down towards turn number 1. Any more changes further back? It doesn't look like it. Ben Cooper gradually now falling back from Andreas Bachmann, but then as they hit the brakes in through turn number 3, he closes once again. Have to keep a keen eye as well on Michael Christensen, because he's not too far back there in 7th place. So I wonder if he's keeping those tyres nice and cool for the time being, not pushing too hard and just waiting as this race progresses on to try and make a move. But look at Anthony Abbas, 3rd place at the minute. He's now closed that gap to 2nd place man Sean Babington, and I think before too much longer he could be threatening for that 2nd place. They turn their way through through the hairpin at turn number 9. Race leader Paolo De Conto goes through turn 10. The gap between the top two now 0.6 of a second, and it continues to grow by the looks of it as Babington continues to feel the pressure from the man in third, Anthony Abbas.
12 laps to go. Anthony Abbas trying to get himself up into second place. Then what could he do if he can get past Babington? About the race leader, he wants to do it soon because the gap's nearly a second now. Paolo De Conto is in danger of breaking away from them. So Anthony Abbas has definitely pulled away from Jordan Lennox-Lamb now. Closes the gap. He's almost onto the tail of Sean Babington. There they go. Second and third. There's Lennox-Lamb in fourth place. Andreas Batman fifth. Ben Cooper hanging on to sixth. But as you say, not that far ahead of Michael Christensen. Is there going to be a move shortly? Well, at the moment, Babington is not giving any opportunities to the Frenchman to get through. He's keeping that cart bang on the racing line, and you very, very rarely see Sean Babington make a mistake and gift opportunities to other drivers. So Anthony Abbas, in other words, he's going to have to work for this. The Italian leads. The British drivers run second and fourth, and in between them in third place we've got a French driver. We've got three different nationalities at the moment on the podium. Alex Beji, the Italian driver, is starting to work up through the order as well. He was 12th from 17th on the grid. In fact, he's just dropped a place down to 13th position. And you got Ben Cooper getting back onto the tail of Andreas Batman now. So the battle for fifth place is just as close as the battle for third position. And here comes Anthony Abbas. Into turn 7 he goes. And he gets second place with a lovely move up the inside of Sean Babington. So Babington demoted to third position. Jordan Lennox-Lamb is shadowing him through the hairpin, trying to get a place as well. Babington fights back on the way into the hairpin. Looks at the inside, draws alongside, but can't do it. So Anthony Abbas hangs on to second place. Babington having to be careful now to close the door. Otherwise, Matt, Jordan Lennox-Lamb's going to be in like Flynn.
Yeah, he didn't cover turn number 7 very well at all, but I have to say Abbas did get a fantastic run through turn number 6, which lent his the place to get past Babington. So Abbas now on his way there in second place. He's got to try and close this gap to our race leader Paolo De Conto, which sits at 1.6 seconds. So Paolo is up the road, heads through turn number 6 now. Abbas is second, Babington third, and again the pressure comes from behind, this time from Jordan Lennox-Lamb down the inside line, and it's exactly the same pass made by Abbas a lap ago. Babington now drops to fourth place. Is he going to lose another one here? Babington again tries to fight back down the inside at the right-hander at turn number 9, but it's not quite good enough. Side by side for fourth place now. Babington does just hold on, but it's Ben Cooper who's coming into the mix in that 6:01 car. Side by side losing second. Third place there was going to be Jordan Lennox-Lamb. So Babington back up 1. Ben Cooper goes through now into fourth place. Lennox-Lamb's going to be down to 6th place, possibly not quite. Andreas Bachmann thought about it, and Michael Christensen now finds himself with the top 6 drivers as well. So they turn away through turn number 3. This is all action, Chris, for DD2.
Gutsy stuff, isn't it, from Babington? He's fighting straight back and back into third place. While all that was going on the lap previous, Ben Cooper managed to get ahead of Andreas Batman, so he's now the nearest challenger. Onto the tail he is, but Jordan Lennox-Lamb is right with him in 5th position. Andreas Batman 6th. Michael Christensen is up there as well in 7th. Damien VM was coming under attack from Josh Collins on the previous lap, but he's hanging on for the time being, the French driver, to 8th place with Collins 9th. Daniel Formal still 10th, and Deruva just out of the top 10 as it stands in 11th position. Martin Pearce continues to lead the Masters category, remaining in 20th place. Through they go with 8 laps to go. Through turn 1 already is the race leader. Into the right-hander at turn 2, into the left at turn 3 he goes. Anthony Abbas trying to close the gap. The Frenchman is certainly pulling away from this battle for third position. 48.346 for the race leader, a 38.362 for Abbas in second place. So he's on an almost identical pace to the race leader, but he is not able to close the gap at the moment.
Yep, and both Damien VM and the man at the back of it, Josh Collins, have made it a 7-cart train now as they turn their way through. Anthony Abbas is not quite closing the gap to our race leader Paolo De Conto at the minute. Yellow flag, so one's gone. If that Josh Collins, not quite sure there, off on the grass though, rejoins.
Yeah, I don't think it was Collins, but it was in and around there. Might have been Beji who was involved in the incident down at the hairpin, just on the fringes of the top 10, that, wasn't it? So the leader comes through, and yeah, Daniel Formal and Alex Beji it was coming together. Beji came off worst in all of that, so Daniel Formal and Alex Beji tumbling down the order. No changes in the top 6, but up to 7th there comes Damien VM. Michael Christensen is 8th and Josh Collins 9th. Zinderuva comes up to 10th. Brian Ayrden, who we heard from on the grid, is up to 11th place now. So everybody's shifting up 1, and we've got 7 laps to go. Well, we've got 6.5 laps to go, and it's going to be not long enough, I don't think, for Anthony Abbas to try and close the gap here. Look at this squabble for third place. They're running together. Sean Babington runs wide, coming out of the hairpin. Ben Cooper might just nip through here. No, he doesn't quite, but Sean Babington under real pressure now from the reigning champion, and Ben Cooper's going to go for a move into turn 1. He gets third place. Can he keep it tidy on the way out of the corner? Babington tries to fight back on the way into turn 2, but Cooper's made it. So the Canadian goes through to third place. The British drivers now 4th and 5th with Babington and Jordan Lennox-Lamb, and then in 6th place it's the Swede Andreas Backman.
Sean Babington's got to be careful there, because of course he had a bad finish at round 1 in Genk in the final, nearly a bad result there, trying to hop over the curbs and get back down the inside of Ben Cooper, but he stays there in 4th place for the time being. Top 2 continue to pull away. Let's see who's going to make the next of the challenges. We've got Jordan Lennox-Lamb still sitting in 5th place, Andreas Backman also still attached slightly in 6th place. Those 4 carts turn their way now through turn 10 on towards the penultimate corner at turn 11. There's 5 laps to go for our race leader now, who extends once more over the man in second, Anthony Abbas, to 2.2 seconds. The run down then in towards turn 1 goes once again for our 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th place carts, still being headed by Ben Cooper. Sean Babington still under this defensive drive. He's having to look every way he can at the minute, because he's now got the attentions of Jordan Lennox-Lamb to try and hold that place once more. Off the back straight they head then in towards the right-hander at turn 6. What's going to be happening at turn 7? This has been the corner so far this weekend that's delivered the most of the overtaking opportunity, so that's where people will be looking as the race draws to a close. Safe through this time, everyone. No real challenges down the inside or outside lines, and as they all turn away then through the left-hander, it's still Ben Cooper ahead of Sean Babington for 3rd and 4th. 5th place Jordan Lennox-Lamb, 6th place Andreas Backman, and then the gap starts to form between them and the 7th place man Damien VM.
Martin Pearce is out of the top 20 now, but he still leads the Masters category. He's about 5 places clear of Cristiano Magado, who just doesn't seem to be able to make any progress really in this race. I'm looking at this battle for 4th, 3rd, 4th positions. Joining the back of that train is Josh Collins, who's going really quickly at the moment. 48.5 for him last time round, so watch for Josh Collins maybe picking up 1 or 2 places at the end of this race. He's 9th at the moment. There he is, going through the shot, almost with now Michael Christensen. Thanks to the enormous lead that Paolo De Conto has built at 2.2 seconds. Equally comfortable in 2nd place, of course. Then we've got Anthony Abbas, and Ben Cooper just eking away now, isn't he, in 3rd position from Sean Babington. He only got the position away from him a lap or so ago, but Sean just struggling to hang on to him for the time being. I mean, of course, got Jordan Lennox-Lamb with him as well, and Andreas Backman not that far behind, so he doesn't want to lose any more places here if possible. And then with them also is Damien VM in the red and white colour scheme, Michael Christensen and Josh Collins, and kind of similar lap times there, so not really any changes inside the top 10. Further down, in fact, there were no changes inside the top 20, so a fairly static lap that, 2.5 to go. I think 1st and 2nd are sorted out, Matt, but there's still this battle for the final place in the podium.
Yeah, Jordan Lennox-Lamb now looking the more racy up, all over the tail of Sean Babington at the minute for that 4th place. Was if he can find his way through, so not the same result by the looks of it that we saw at round number 1 at Genk for Jordan Lennox-Lamb. I don't think he's even going to be on the podium, because Ben Cooper also starts to pull away there in 3rd place. The stream of cars inside the top 10 make their way across the line. Again, you can see the race leaders making their way through turns 2 and 3. The gap that time between the leaders was down to 2.2 seconds, so about now at this stage in the race is starting to stay around about the same we've had for the latter half of it. 1.5 laps to go for our race leaders. There you can see 4th and 5th flying through the picture in towards turn 7. Right now Babington goes very defensive that time, so he knows that's where he's been caught out twice so far in this race, by Ben Cooper and also by Anthony Abbas, and now it could be the chance for Jordan Lennox-Lamb to get it as well. A great run through the corner there, gets the slingshot round the outside, but it's not going to work. Can he get the cut back at turn number 11 as they come through to the penultimate corner? No, he can't at the minute, but Jordan Lennox-Lamb is really now starting to push. Can he get a toe down the straight and into towards turn number 1? Paolo De Conto goes now onto the last lap of the race, and for 4th place it's still for the time being, don't know how much longer for though, Babington ahead of Lennox-Lamb, and Andreas Backman there behind in 6th place.
It's going to be a long lap, isn't it, for Sean Babington, with all his pressure from behind. This is working out nicely for Ben Cooper. He's going to extend his championship lead over Jordan Lennox-Lamb, and of course the race leader Paolo De Conto carries an exclusion from Genk, so he's not really a championship threat. Just behind there's action there between Backman and VM, and what about Babington, is he hanging on to the place? They're queued up behind him. He gets a hit there going into the hairpin from Lennox Lamb, but it's actually served just to push him on, and it looks like he's going to clinch that 4th place, but there's an almighty tussle just behind as the flag comes out, and victory goes to Paolo De Conto, 2nd place to Anthony Abbas, and 3rd across the line, Ben Cooper extends his championship lead, Matt.
Yep, he certainly does. So what an entertaining DD2 final that was here at the Largy Circuit. I think that push there for Sean Babington from the likes of Jordan Lennox Lamb really did help him towards the last couple of corners, because as Sean went into the corner, Jordan got right onto the tail, gave him a push. That then held up Jordan Lennox Lamb, and it gave a lot of people behind him the chance to get through as well. But it didn't quite happen. Jordan did manage to hold on to that 5th spot. Just in front of him was the car of that Sean Babington. So slightly disappointing there for Sean, but of course with a slightly longer final as well for the DD2 compared to the heats and the pre-final. It means Sean may have suffered with that ankle he's had, and the one that he sprained as well in a football accident. So Sean Babington doing pretty well considering to hold on to that 4th place in the end. But a fantastic race there to kick off the finals here at the Italian circuit, and it was eventually a win for Paolo De Conto. So he picks up his first win this year in the final after some great heats yesterday. Took 3 out of 3. He won the pre-final earlier, so maximum points for the weekend for the KMS Birrell Motorsport man. 2nd place went the way of Anthony Abbas. Very impressive this weekend has been Anthony. He started on the grid in 6th place, made his way up into 2nd. So Anthony Abbas, I'm sure, will be delighted with that 2nd place and some good points scored as well. 2.3 seconds back in the end there. Ben Cooper comes home in 3rd for the 2nd of the KMS Birrell Motorsport kart, so both of those on the podium, which is fantastic to see as well. Sean Babington comes home 4th. 5th place then for round 1 winner Jordan Lennox Lamb. Andreas Bachmann, improvement as well for him from round 1, gets himself inside the top 6 very nicely for Strawberry Racing. 7th place then for Damien VM. Joshua Collins comes home in 8th place. Michael Christensen in 9th, and rounding out your top 10, Zendaruva, the man who won the final here last year, only finishes 10th for this year for the ART Grand Prix team. 11th place for Brian Eden, 12th place for French Cantacar, 13th place then for Dario Santori. Daniel Formal, after that slight coming together with Alex Beji, drops down into that spot right towards the end. 15th place for David Rotar, 16th place was Marcel Schirmer. Maxim Gravali and Ennio Sessa comes home in 18th place. On the next screen you should be able to see the Masters man. Yes, Martin Pearce was the winner this weekend in Masters and picks up again a final win and their first championship points, of course, because as we said to you, they didn't quite get into the final at Genk. So first Masters points for Martin Pearce. He finishes 19th overall. Alessio Curto 20th, Barry Pullinger 21st, Mika Laiho in 22nd, Erwin Mountfort for the Mountfort Motorsport team in 23rd. Second of the Masters, that of Cristiano Magado. So pretty much from the back he gets himself up to 24th place. So I'm sure he'll be slightly happy with that. Of course he had a long way to go to try and catch Martin Pearce. Martin Steinert's in 25th, Arturo Apathale in 26th, 27th for Kevin Ludi, 28th Lorenzo Van Wright, Alex Beji, Maxi Fleischmann, and down the order there you can see some of the non-finishers: Massimo Assetto, Julian Renadan, and also that of Philippus Calasius with one non-starter, Luca Kamali. But a great final there from DD2s and a great win for Paolo De Conto.